Chelsea 2, Crystal Palace 1, and we've actually won a game. We've actually won a game for the first time in what feels like forever. I know statistically it's only been, I don't know, West Ham. West Ham, can you believe it? The 3rd, was that the 3rd of September? Nearly a month, obviously, there's been all sorts of stuff going on in between. But as you can see, Chelsea back up to 5th place for now. Manchester United and Manchester City playing tomorrow. If Man City win or draw, then we will maintain our place in 5th. And so far, given how the season's gone so far, it could be a lot worse. It really could be a lot worse. This game, it did feel like Tuchel was still in charge, from my perspective anyway. Certain players still not quite on the ball, not quite providing the momentum and the quality that we know that they can. And for the first time in quite some time, or if ever, maybe, for Chelsea Fan TV, we bring you the player rating show. And allow me to just put the old green screen on, and there you can see in all my glory. Right, I'm getting spooned by Titanic style by Mr. Potter himself. He's actually done it. You beauty. We've won a game. His first Premier League game in charge, our 11th victory in a row against Crystal Palace, and plenty more stats to go through. Of course, we start off with the almighty. What a goal. And very rarely will we start with a substitute performance. So we go straight to these two. Seems kind of harsh, considering I've given Gallagher an 8 and Pulisic a 6.5. But quite frankly, Gallagher made the very most out of what Pulisic gave him. A brilliant run from Pulisic, but given the pass, given the opportunity, Gallagher made every single bit of that worthwhile. Gallagher, player of the season for Palace last season. Poetic, if you think about it. He's come on, right? He's had a stinker of a season so far for Chelsea, according to a lot of people. First 2 games, he got sent off in one of them, and just dreadful sort of performances there, here and there. And then he comes on as a substitute and just nestles one of the most perfect goals, one of the most perfect shots in the back of the net. When all hope was lost, the minute that the goal was, I believe they got it down as 90th minute. I couldn't quite believe it. I really couldn't believe it. Pulisic obviously coming on. The reason I highlight these two is because of, well, this man in particular, Mr. Graham Potter. They're both coming on as substitutes and making an impact together. And I know Thomas Tuchel obviously has had his moments with that. He's known for sometimes, too late in terms of his substitutions. But sometimes they'd work. Most times they wouldn't. In this case, second game in charge, it's worked a charm for Mr. Graham Potter. And quite frankly, a substitution masterclass from Mr. Potter himself. Magical, should I say. Great little run from Pulisic. Played back in play to Gallagher, who has nutmegged the player and just nestled it into the top of the net. It's just an absolutely fantastic goal. It really is. Going into defence, of course, we'll start with Kepa. Honestly, Kepa, I didn't think he had too bad of a game. The first goal, of course, rooted to the spot. Fofana should have done a little bit better. His man got away from him. It's still early days for him. He's got the pressure of the weight of the world on him. All kinds of expectations for him as our new Chelsea defender. And we shall get onto this man in just a second, because it's a little bit iffy as to whether or not he should still be on the pitch. The rules of the game and all that as such. But with regards to Fofana, I feel like apart from the obvious in the fact that he didn't track his man too well in Edouard, brilliant goal really, great cross from Ayew, fantastic finish from Edouard, who hasn't been in the top form that he was expected to be for Crystal Palace, but a goal for them nonetheless. Good for him. Arguably, let's be honest, just not the best defending from Fofana and not quite what we were expecting from him. But apart from that, not too bad a performance. James. You could argue he had a bit of an off game. Didn't really, though. He was still here. He was there. He was every fucking where. Let's be honest. James just every single place he needs to be. And if you could class this as an off game, still a good game for him. That's the facts with James, is that even when he plays badly, he plays pretty much better than most of the players on the pitch for Chelsea. Chilwell, kind of the same. Didn't really have too much to say, but also didn't have too much wrong in terms of his performance. So equally a 7 for him. The only reason I give Thiago Silva such a high rating is because of the audacity to do what he did. Again, lucky to be on the pitch. Absolutely so fortunate to be on the pitch. A complete and utter deliberate shithouse decision to go for and act like he didn't mean to do it. He's handballed it. He's absolutely handballed it. Goal scoring opportunity or not, it's a handball. But we'll take it. It was a foul. You could argue if you were anyone but a Chelsea fan that it was probably a goal scoring opportunity, or at least it could have led to something like that. The fact that it was disallowed or turned over, or not turned over, but it wasn't a red card as quick as it was, given who we are, and that VAR typically doesn't favour Chelsea. Quite frankly, with the West Ham decision and now with this, we've lost all leeway in that regard. So we can't really complain with VAR in the eyes of rival fans and neutral fans and all that stuff. But yeah, Thiago Silva got away with one today and somehow appeared in the left-hand side of midfield and nodded a header to Aubameyang, who, Drogba-esque, with his back against goal, has turned, like the goal against Liverpool years and years ago, as just a brilliant goal. His first goal for Chelsea. He's the first player to score a debut goal for Chelsea and Arsenal. Not quite sure what that sort of statistic matters, but it's there all the same. Jorginho, what is he doing? Quite frankly, came off captain of the club today, with Azpilicueta being a substitute and didn't come off the bench. What does he do? I don't understand. I'm very, very open to criticism on my opinion on this. I've seen so many people say that Jorginho isn't good enough to be in the centre role, and sometimes he is, sometimes he isn't. Today on this occasion, I feel like he did more bad than he could have done good. Kovacic, the same. He very much like James is one of those players that even when he's on his bad or on his worst sort of form can have a good performance, but today I just feel like he just wasn't as good as he could have been. Again, subjective, the way you look at it, as is all of this. But still, Jorginho and Kovacic, the weak links today for me. Mason Mount, again, what shall we say? 7 games, 0 goals, 0 assists, 0 big chances created. You could argue he came very, very close today. Very close. He had the headed chance miss. We've got big chances missed. Sterling with a big chance where he hit the post. He should probably have put that away. Aubameyang corner where he scuffed it and probably should have put that away, or at least got a decent shot off. And Mason Mount with the header. And of course the indirect free kick. I don't know why he quite went for the for the nearest, smallest possible angle instead of maybe trying to whip it. But again, subjective. So I just feel that Mason Mount should really be doing better. Sorry, it's just my opinion. Come on. I've got a graphic here, right? Shall we go to player versus player? This is Mason Mount before today. In games when he started versus games this season versus last season. The first 6 games that he was in the starting 11 last season. 6 games, 3 goals, 2 assists, 0.83 goals and assists per game. 5 goals and assists in 6 games. To now, he's got 7 games played. 0 goals, 0 assists, 0 goals and assists per game. 0 goals and assists in 7 appearances. And although it's kind of nitpicking, he also hasn't had a big chance. He hasn't created a single big chance. I'm a big fan of Mason Mount, but I'm also not sure quite what's going on. He scored a fantastic goal against Germany to equalise in that game. And much the same, Kai Havertz didn't really do too much. He didn't have a bad game at all. He's had probably a better game than he has done in recent times. Scored a brace against England the other day. And yeah, just still, those two players in particular should be playing better than they are. We know they're good. We know they are fantastic players. Mason Mount, player of the season for Chelsea. 2 seasons in a row. We know he can be good. What's happened? I don't understand. I hope he pulls it back together. Today had very much more in the way of chances to create and to maybe even score today. But again, it's just too little and not enough to provide for that. Aubameyang, brilliant. Where he was needed to be. Didn't have too much of an impact on the game besides the goal, which of course was fantastic. But really, from a striker, that's what you want. You don't care if he's involved too much or not. As long as he scores, as long as he makes an impact, it doesn't really matter. Sterling, again, seems to create chances for himself more than he does for anyone else. But even still, like when he does create chances, it's there, but it's not quite enough. Still, a summary. Loftus-Cheek, again, just to clarify these two. Broja didn't really have too much time to make an impact. Again, 20 minutes or so, 15 minutes. Palace's player of the season last season, Gallagher, what a goal. In summary, fantastic. We could still be more clinical. Listen, 13 shots, 3 on target, 2 goals. That is poor. That is so poor. That is so ridiculously poor from a team of our calibre. Mount has a bit of a temper. I've come to realise that Mount has got a bit of a temper on him. A weird yellow card to get. Obviously, he got dragged back, but he got booked for what seemingly something he could have avoided altogether. Thiago Silva lucky to be on the pitch again. Let's be honest, but you know, cons still not clinical. As I said, Fofana poor. For the goal, but apart from that, seemed to be, you know, pulling his weight somewhat. Pros, good sub from Potter, 2 good subs from Potter in particular. Fantastic tactical substitution from him. Pulisic again with the assist. Gallagher with a screamer, and of course Pulisic assist. Gallagher's goal. Chances again. Sterling big chance. Aubameyang corner. Mount with the header. Besides that, listen, 3 points is 3 points. We move from here. It's Graham Potter's first Premier League game as Chelsea manager is ticked off the books. It's done. It's out the way. Next, listen, we've got plenty of games coming up, of course, with all of which will be shown to you. Coverage, the stats, the facts, the coverage, all that sort of stuff brought to you with the watch-alongs that we bring here on Chelsea Fan TV. The next one, of course, coming on my birthday, the 5th of October, we have at Stamford Bridge, AC Milan. And what a game that is. What a must-win situation that is. 1 point from our first 2 games in the Champions League. Then it's off to, still Stamford Bridge to face Wolves in the Premier League. Then off to the San Siro on the 11th. And then Villa Park. There's so many games to go. Games against Arsenal, I believe. Manchester United, Man City. There's so much to go before the World Cup comes around. So stay tuned. Literally, stay tuned. Be sure to like, subscribe, hit the bell notifications for any more content coming up on the channel. And with that said, up the Chelsea. Thanks for watching and peace.